watching Daddy's Game Time.
It's Daddy's Game Time.
I just can't hang.
Yeah! Welcome to this special episode of Daddy's Game Time, your family-friendly show about gaming, movies, and pop culture, all from a daddy's perspective, coming at you live from the Central Coast of California.
What's up?
I'm Leo with
Rick.
And Francisco's not here. He's not here again this year
not
for
here.
the special E3 edition episode. He's on his secret anniversary that he won't tell us the details about. We still have no idea why he keeps missing all these special E3 days.
It's like his own special holiday that he has invented for himself only.
Invented for himself. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it a lot.
But it's okay.
I like it
We're
a
going to
lot.
come to you, just me and Leo here. I hope you're okay with that. I think you will be.
So what you're looking at right now, it's a little bit different than a regular setup, obviously. It's a special occasion, the Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles,
E3.
California. Arguably the most important convention about video games worldwide. It's
happening now.
It's happening. It's happening. It's happening.
It's actually,
Cue
this
all
is
the memes.
the fourth day or the fifth day? Did it start Friday? It started Friday,
No,
right?
it started from, as far as I understand, it started Sunday.
Since Sunday? No, since
Yes.
Saturday. Didn't we have something on Saturday?
But the announcements, the conferences we've been seeing.
Oh,
they're
stuff.
part of E3, but
Yeah.
they're not E3 itself.
So it's like
So
all
these
the
are
post, the pre-shows, the
Exactly.
yeah.
So we have a very special show in store for you today. We're gonna give you some of the highlight announcements for the latest video games that we've been seeing.
We're going to try to
Some
kind of
surprises.
breeze through them kind of quickly because there's a lot of stuff to kind of cover. So we apologize if we kind of run on some of the stuff, but we're going to try to kind of get this
some
out
of
for
it
you.
is very exciting. Some of it not so much, but we're going to try and bring it all to you because we know a lot of you are looking forward to a lot of these titles. So
Very meh-siding.
meh-siding, yeah. Some of those
Meh.
conferences are very meh-siding. Also, if you tune into our YouTube channel, Daddy's Game Time, you will see our live reactions. We
Right.
just finished the live broadcast for the Sony E3 press
Sony
conference. And so you'll see our live reactions on there if you want to check out that video. This is kind of like the post show for the Sony, and also where we will be bringing you some of the highlights of
Yesterday.
what's been
Today and
shown
yesterday.
to us so far. So let's
What's
get
up
right.
to everybody that's joining us? If you want to give us some comment, we're also reading this live. So if you have any questions, we'll try to answer them for you.
Absolutely, I almost forgot to say that. Yes, quick shout out to the people that have already joined us. Salem Servin, Eric Perez. What's up, man? What's going on, everybody? So feel free, chime in with your comments, any questions you may have, and we'll get right to you.
Let's do this.
Let's get right to it. Japan Studios, or Universal Studios Japan, released a little something for us here. What are we looking at, Rick?
Well, this is actually prior to the E3. This was released a few days last week, if I'm not mistaken. So Universal Studios, we know we have one in California, we have one in Florida, and there's also Japan. They have officially announced this. Obviously, I don't know. This cannot be what you're going to see
it's
there.
a very fantastical way of looking
Unless
at
you're
it.
going to be in a whole virtual reality world, but I
Right.
really doubt it. But this is just basically stating that Mario will be a thing at
Right.
a theme. Sorry, at Universal Japan.
Pretty exciting because you know it's going to eventually most likely come out here.
Yes,
But this is one of my highlights, if not the highlight of this year's E3 so far. The new Dragon Ball Z game. I know we've had a lot of Dragon Ball Z fighting games in the previous years. However, this looks like it's like the perfect iteration of where Dragon Ball Z belongs.
I
in
like this.
2 dimensions, which is just like the cartoons. The animations look crisp. They look out of this
I like
world.
the cell shading.
They
cell
remind
animation.
me. It's not cell shading, Rick.
It's not?
It's 2D. So it's all
2D
anime.
cell shading.
So it's pretty much you're playing the cartoon.
Yeah.
That's what you are. And nice,
So-
crisp visuals. It looks amazing. It looks like it's home. Like this game.
I like how they kind of jumped back to some
Right.
of their older fighting games with the 3-on-3 where you can kind of jump in and out with a different fighter.
Right.
I like that. But I think I am going to kind of miss the whole, kind of floating around, kind of not completely. I mean, I could probably
Look at that.
give it up.
Woo!
But
Dragon Ball Fighter.
But this looks cool. Is it Fighter Z or Fighters? That's the only thing I didn't get.
Fighter Z.
All right, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, early of 2018.
Yeah, that's
Can't wait for that
probably
one.
what I'm most excited for. It reminds me of the old Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So I'm very excited. Big fan of that. Now, this is another fan favorite. This is The Evil Within 2.
Deuce.
Yes. So this,
You know what?
Bethesda is definitely bringing it with this title. I don't know, man. The original was a very eerie game, very creepy game, weird game as well.
It definitely
And-
was. I didn't get too far into it, which
Mhm. was
was kind of rather unfortunate because now seeing this, I kind of wanted to dang, why didn't I play more of part 1?
Right.
But,
And this trailer definitely continues to go along that route of eerie games. So pretty excited for it. It's really cool looking.
Yeah.
It's very atmospheric. Although I don't recall. It's been quite a while since I've played The Evil Within. Is it the same protagonist that we're looking at?
I can't tell because it's been a while since I played it as well. It kind of looks he kind of looks familiar. Like I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% on that. Is that blood? What is that?
It looks like it's blood, but he's suspended in time.
That's pretty cool.
So it's very possible that this part that we're looking at is quite possibly in his mind. Like he's tripping. He's going through a trip of some sort, like a mind trip. So
Tripping on milk.
Gio. No, this is part of the Bethesda conference, which, in my opinion, so far has been the best conference that
Really?
we've seen. Yes, I actually got a chance to see the EA conference, which whatever. Battlefront was a big thing in that one. Then Bethesda, it gave us some pretty cool things. Not too much, but it was very well done conference.
Right.
It cut out all the fat, definitely.
You know what? I've noticed
from
that
it.
too because when you see Sony and when you see Microsoft, they kind of want to outperform each other. They want to
Yes.
bring their best. Bethesda's kind of like, I don't care. Here's what we got.
Exactly. Yeah.
Move to the side here.
Exactly. Like they don't care about that extra fluff. They
Yeah.
just bring it to you. And and the presentation's not so bad. It's not as high budget as you see out of Microsoft and Sony, for example, or even EA. But what it does really well, and it knows exactly what chords to hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Before we move along, got a comment from John Rogers. Hey, what's up, my boy?
Hey, esse John Rogers.
All right, what's this?
Yeah.
What do we got here?
So another Bethesda butte. This is
this is the VR. Was it the VR one?
no, this is a different one.
Oh, okay.
This is a game where you have I don't know if it's like an organic type of robot of some sort. It's kind of hard to tell whether it's like a cyborg of some sort or if it's all robot. It's
That looks
like
funny,
a
I'm
giant dog dinosaur looking thing that tries to help these guys, but it's still an animal, and it kind of the wild side of him kind of gets to him. And it looks like, I don't know if it's part
You know
of
what? I didn't see this one.
I don't know if it's part of a series or if it's something completely original. I would imagine it's completely original, but it does have a Fallout vibe to it.
It does,
I have to
yeah.
admit. So yeah, that's what we're looking at.
We're still looking at Bethesda, right?
This girl calls this giant robot-looking thing, but it behaves like an animal would. So that's what makes me wonder if it's an animal within a robotic body. But
Well,
I
it's
don't know.
definitely got the animal instinct in it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And so
She's just
it's
so
like she
disappointed.
calls it, she kind of like scolds it, and it's called Liesel. And it's kind of hard to tell. Is this going to be a video game, or is it just, what is it, you know? Or if it's just going to be like part of the presentation that they're having.
I'm guessing that's just going to be like one little component to what's going to be happening here.
Perhaps.
Because they're doing
So
like a...
this is the actual game right here.
Yeah, because they're kind of showing like the whole... what is it? What era was that? The
Like the
40s?
40s, 50s, somewhere around there.
So they're showing a lot of like TV shows
Right.
from that era.
Now, this is the trailer for Wolfenstein that Bethesda released. So far, this has probably been, in my opinion, aside from the Dragon Ball Z Fighters, or Fighter Z, I mean, this is probably the biggest announcement I've seen so far.
Wolfenstein 2.
This is it's not 2, it's like...
I thought it was 2.
Or is it? I don't remember. But it's definitely a new Wolfenstein. The old Wolfenstein games are really good. Not too memorable, I have to admit. However, this one looks like it's worth talking about. It's probably one of the most impressive looking games at this year's E3. And not only impressive looking, but also... a new game, a new announcement, and as you're gonna find out as we continue this today's broadcast on this special show,
This looks like the gameplay.
you're gonna see that there were not too many new things in this year's E3's.
There wasn't, unfortunately.
E3 announcements. It's kind of like just newer trailers of things that had been already announced.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice that they gave us that, that update, like, okay, here's some more little morsels of what's to come. But yeah, you kind of definitely wanted to expect a little flavor of something else in there.
Right.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen, at least so far. Tomorrow, I think there's 1 or 2 more press conferences going on. I'm not entirely too sure. So we'll see then. But other than that, I mean, so far, that's it. Like we didn't get the greatest stuff. We just got updates of what happened last year. So
right, we got more gameplay, which is what the people want, but I think that should be only a part of the conference. And what I've seen so far from people like Microsoft and Sony, and to a certain extent from EA, we didn't really get too many surprises.
no, we didn't.
Now, I missed the Ubisoft conference. You did get a chance to see it. I missed it. But for the most part, it just seems like everybody's playing it safe with these.
We have we're gonna see some videos
announcements.
of the Ubisoft stuff in a little bit, so you'll be able to see that. I think most of the people are playing safe, and I think Microsoft basically kind of came out and said, not so much to this exact wording, but they pretty much said, it's not like the greatest stuff, but this is stuff you're gonna play this year.
Right.
So they kind of
Actually, that was Bethesda that said that.
wasn't that Microsoft?
Bethesda said it.
Oh.
This is all coming out this year.
Oh well, there you go.
So,
That's
for example,
Bethesda.
Wolfenstein is coming out this year. The Evil Within 2 is coming out this year.
Oh well, there you go.
So that's one of the things I loved about the Bethesda conference last year, and that I'm loving about the Bethesda conference this year. All of their announcements, they seem to do a pretty good job of keeping a tight lid for most of the things that they're announcing. And
that little part's like it's a dud.
yeah. And so by the time they announce it, it seems like it's a new announcement. However, it's not a new announcement. It's something that they've been working on for years, and they're going to release it soon enough, within a matter of months.
I like this part right here. Bam, bam. That's so sad, but it's funny. Because they actually have a lot of projects that they work on. I mean, they do a lot of remakes of their old games. They remaster them. They the next parts, like Skyrim, for example. They re-released that on multiple consoles with an HD update, with a virtual, which you're going to see in a little while, I believe. But they do a good job at their games, and they stick to their time. I haven't really noticed them say, like, okay, we're going to release this at a certain point, and then as it gets close, okay, and we're going to push it back to whatever. I think they really do a really good job development-wise, production-wise, of giving what they promised.
Right.
So I really like that about that company.
Yeah, but Bethesda's on point with what they're doing, and this trailer's a little long. However, it presents pretty much the story. For those of you that don't know what Wolfenstein's about, it presents to you an alternate history.
There's that.
The history of what if Germany would have won the World War.
There's that dog. See, he's
so
right.
Then we have an America that is ran by Nazis, and you have this underground rebel group of Americans that want to overthrow them, and pretty much that's what these games are all about. Just trying to overthrow the Nazi regime in an alternate history, alternate timeline,
right,
if you will. So I think it's pretty interesting. I really enjoy it.
It's a good concept. It's something a little bit different.
The thing I don't like about some of the older titles that would tackle concepts regarding the SS, German soldiers, and all that is they're really dark. Their color palettes are very bland. However, these games take it to a whole new level. They do bring a lot of variety. It's not as dark as it may seem. Wolfenstein 2,
the New Colossus.
So coming out October 27th
yeah.
of this year.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So a little animated lizard thing. So actually, before we move on, like you saw there, you're going to see a lot of these clips that are kind of gory, kind of graphic. So we apologize if there's any young viewers in the audience here, so just kind of giving you a heads up if you want to watch out for what your kids may be watching. But other than that, please enjoy.
Yeah. So what we're watching here is one of the Madden trailers. Let me skip ahead to the second Madden trailer that they presented. Madden, we all know what Madden is. Every year we get pretty much a reiteration with updated rosters of the same game, except this time. I think I'm going to actually purchase this Madden right away because
that story mode.
They're adding,
or what do they call it?
They're adding an actual story mode to it. I forget what it goes by, like career story or something.
I think they
like
might
that.
say it right here, but yeah. So essentially, you basically customize your guy. I didn't see. Can you like facial? Like, can you set up what he looks like, or you just pick like a default and then build him up from there?
From the trailer, they didn't reveal anything regarding that. However, it does follow the story of this young man and his ascension, and it has real Hollywood actors. Like, for example, this guy, I forget his real name, but he was in
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, yes, he was
Cottonmouth.
He was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage, so that's pretty cool. I really really like that. I will be buying this. Despite Tom Brady being on the cover. Okay, now this was the second highlight, like for me, of this whole E3 so far. This game is unlike everything else that you've seen at this conference this year. It's a local co-op video game where you play as these two guys trying to escape from prison. They don't get along in prison. However, for one reason or another, they have to work together in order to escape.
And they team up.
They have to team up. You play local co-op.
So this is from the maker of A Tale of Two Brothers, right? I think it said it right there too.
That's right.
Have
you played that game? Excellent game. I love that game.
You know what? That's what I was going to say.
Really
I couldn't really get that much into it. I like the co-op factor of it. I'd rather play like co-op with a buddy rather than, if I remember correctly, The Tale of Two Brothers with one controller. You
pretty much co-op with yourself in that game. That's what that game was about.
So that's what I didn't like about it. I would rather have preferred, I play player one, you play player two, and we're both working together. I hope this one does that. But if it does the exact same thing,
No, the director already released a statement where he said that it doesn't play like A Tale of Two Brothers. It's completely different. This game from EA, obviously, and it's called A Way Out. Excellent looking game, and it is 2-player local.
Okay,
so
cool.
2-player local,
much
so
better.
It's
I do
encouraging.
like.
And he said that one of the things he wanted to accomplish with this game was to encourage communication locally as two people are playing it on the same television screen.
What I did enjoy about what I saw from these highlights here, sometimes they'll show like a cut scene of what's happening to one of the characters,
And he's watching. What's
while
up,
the
Andy?
other one is, moving or doing whatever it is that they need to be doing. So it's kind of cool. Like, there you go. See, so you'll see like a movie kind of going on one side, but the other one is performing actions that need to happen, I guess,
Right.
to move along. So I kind of like that. I like that aspect where, part of it, you can kind of relax, watch, and, your buddy, I guess, the other co-op can, do what they need to do.
Well, and also some of it's like you have to work simultaneously. Like you have to be talking to a guard, distracting him, while the other guy goes and goes through a door or grabs something or hides something, and that's really cool. I really, really enjoy the ideas behind this game.
Yeah.
How are they going to play out? Well, that remains to be seen. However, this is very, very exciting because it kind of brings me back to the old days of the Super Nintendo, where you had games similar to this, where you had games where one player had to do something while the other player had to do something else in order to get to the next stage.
There was this one game for NES. If I remember correctly, it's called Gyromite.
Right.
Did you ever play that one?
No, never even heard of it.
Yeah, that's how rare that game is. One player controls, I think he was like a scientist or a doctor or something, and you basically had to go from point A to point B, which actually you can actually build your own level, which was kind of interesting for NES at the time. And the second player controls like the contraptions, like the switches, the floors, the walls that open and close.
Oh, nice.
So you can be a jerk, and as the guy's walking by, just shut the door on him and kill him. So that was kind of fun. That was a fun
and this
game.
is another thing I like about this game. It doesn't all take place inside of a prison.
Right.
It also takes place outside of it as they're trying to evade the police and other dangers, snitches.
You do have to evade them once you escape jail.
That's right. That's right. So
Battlefront 2.
So EA.
I don't know.
Another one from the EA conference. We're watching the Battlefront 2 trailer.
So we've seen this before E3. This wasn't, again, a brand new thing. They did give us a little bit more details of it. From what I understood when I was watching the conference, they had basically said that they took in a lot of what the fan base had said, that they listened, and that they implemented a lot of that into this game. One of the things being the story mode that it looks pretty neat, actually, because you're kind of playing the bad side.
Yes.
The other side of it. But it looks like it's going to have kind of like a little twist in there. I mean, just from what I can see from the gameplay footage. But, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be just slightly better than Battlefront. I don't know. I don't know about this game. What do you think? Are you going to get this one?
I'm hyped for it.
Really?
I'm hyped. The gameplay that I've seen so far from this game looks just as good as what it already was. I'm a big fan of the Battlefront that was released a couple years ago. I really, really enjoy it. Till this day, I enjoy it. I enjoy the DLC that came along with it, even though I'm not a believer in DLC. But, hey, it's like they're giving you another game when you add up all the DLC maps and stuff. And, yes, one of the things that was missing from it was a story mode, and they're finally giving us a story mode. So that's a big deal. They're
giving you more heroes to play.
More heroes to play, which is, expected. And also new maps, of course. So it's all good. It's all gravy. I enjoy that, and this is one of it's an EA game, so I don't expect it to go too over the top with all of the extra stuff that they're giving you from a sequel. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
All right.
So up next, tell us about this game, Rick.
So this was again from the Bethesda conference, I believe, right?
Yes.
Skyrim was already previously announced at the Switch reveal, I believe, conference. So when they did back in, when was it? January?
Look at this. Whoop.
So now they're
What's
just
this?
basically giving us more information about Skyrim being ported over to the Switch.
Look at that.
Amiibos on Switch, obviously, and you can use them for Skyrim. Now, like I said earlier, I love Skyrim. I love these games. They're fun. They're awesome. If you haven't played them, definitely check it out. But they're just pumping out as much hype as they can on Skyrim, throwing them on all platforms, doing remakes, and no, this is not the VR. There's going to be another VR. This is the Switch version, which is kind of cool because you got your little controls and it looks like it kind of gimmicky to it, where you kind of twist it and,
It's just a
and
gimmick.
whatnot.
Nobody's gonna really play
But
that.
I don't know.
Not for
Like I
long,
said, if
at
you haven't
least.
played it, play it. Find it on a platform that you have access to and play it. But I don't know about the Switch version.
Okay,
I don't know about
so
that one.
possibly the biggest announcement out of this year's E3 was also one of the most whatever
Meh.
Xbox One X, the
One
formerly
X.
known as Project Scorpio. If I only received the name Xbox One X, which is fine, I guess, makes sense. Although I think a lot of kids this holiday season are going to be saying, "Mom, Dad, I want an Xbox One X," and come to the register, the parents
They're
are probably
gonna
going to
give
say,
them an
Xbox
Xbox
One
One.
S? Okay, yeah, I think that's what it was. And they're going to get their kids that one. So, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I could totally see how they're... Oh, here's
Yeah,
your
the-
Xbox
it's-
One. No, I wanted the One X.
It's the same games, but in 4K.
Yep.
Same game,
So
but
they're
in 4K.
saying that they're going to take advantage of their 4K resolution. It's going to be backwards compatible, right?
Yes.
For the most part, I believe. But they
Aurora's
didn't,
watching. Amanda's watching. What's up?
but they
¿Cómo
didn't.
están?
I don't think they announced any brand new stuff, right? Any new games? I mean,
Yeah, they had Anthem, which we're gonna see in a minute, but other than that, it's like all of that stuff had already been leaked or they had already announced it, and it's just kind of like what we're seeing from a lot of these other, except for Bethesda, a lot of these other guys where they're just kind of, just leaking information out before it should be ready to come out.
yeah.
Though 6 teraflops, big deal. It's if that's your thing, you probably already own a PC.
The only one thing that I was gonna say, the majority of the stuff that they said that it's exclusive to Xbox. Well, not exclusive because they're saying it's gonna come out on Xbox and Windows 10. So
Right.
the majority of their games was, if you don't have the Xbox, then just get it on your computer, which most people have nowadays. So I did
Right.
like that part at least.
Okay, so this is the big game out of Microsoft, and I think this is also one of those big announcements just because it was a new game, not necessarily because of how great it looked. Although I have to admit, it does visually look stunning. Anthem for the Xbox One. New game. Let me see. Let me fast forward this part where he's just talking to this guy. You can see there through the visuals, it's kind of like a desert, very organic type of environment. We have these mech suits, and you're gonna go in a little adventure. It kind of reminds me of Titanfall a little bit.
This was EA, wasn't it?
EA is making this along with
That's why
with their BioWare team. We know
the-
what BioWare is known for, which is
This totally reminded me of Titanfall when I was watching this. I was
Right.
like, is this like Titanfall 3?
yeah, but it's not the Titanfall team.
Yeah, no.
making it. It's something else. So you have this big Iron Man type of outfit, and you go on this whatever the adventure is. We don't know much yet about the storyline, but you go out into the real world and you go have at it.
And they're taking advantage of the 4K resolution that the Xbox One X is capable of. So
Right.
of course it's going to look amazing, but I mean, at least to me, just quality isn't everything. You know, you want.
I'll be honest with you. It sure. Aside from the fact that it's going to be rendered at a higher resolution, in terms of what's on the screen visually, it doesn't look any different than what I see out of games like Titanfall, out of games like Mass Effect Andromeda, out of games like Horizon Zero Dawn. It looks
You have to take
pretty
into
similar.
consideration, though, to take full advantage, you need a 4K resolution with 4K display. There's not just hook
Right.
up your, so we're used to 1080p and maybe 2K, but 4K, we're not like fully exposed to it
right.
because we're just not used to it yet. Later on, that's all that it's going to be. 1080p is going to be a thing of the past.
Alejandro's watching. Hey,
No
what's
one's
up,
going
man?
to want to do anything 1080p related. They're going to want to be 2K minimum,
Yeah.
if not all 4K. So I can see how everything is getting to there. But yes, like right now looking at this looks, I mean, it's supposed to be outputting at 4K, but we're watching a display that doesn't do 4K, but it still looks amazing. It still
Yeah,
looks
it's
nice.
it's an amazing visually, an amazing looking game. Also, this game actually is very exciting. It
looks fun. It looks like there's a lot of open
highlight.
world.
Yeah, but it doesn't look revolutionary. You know
Yeah.
how there's some games where you just like look at them and you go, "Oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah.
I've never seen something
Well,
like this."
it is
This looks like
definitely
like a lot of what we already have.
You know what? Honestly, it kind of reminds me of like a Halo, just with more features. Like you saw them flying around, zooming
Right.
around. You saw them swimming, which
hmm
I haven't played the latest Halo, so I can't say they do that or not. But I would assume they don't. So it's just kind of like the next step of not Halo, but the next step of a game like a Halo type of franchise.
So yeah, I mean, you can't deny it. Looks good. Looks like a good game.
Forward to the next one. Sorry.
So yeah, we're gonna go ahead.
It's a
and
that's a
skip
that's a
through
long
because-
game, but there was still a
because
couple.
this is gonna be a long show. Probably one of my favorite, and the way they announced this game. I mean, I don't care much for. Oh wait, no, it's not this one. This is just a big surprise for me. Out of the Microsoft conference, they announced this new game. It's kind of like a throwback to a lot of the classic platformer type games that we've seen. Ukulele kind of is bringing it back, to
Mhm.
the old Banjo-Kazooie type of days. And this is sort of like a continuation to some of that stuff. And also it borrows some of the, I guess you could say maybe visual elements from the wow, I just drew a blank right now. Sony's what's that called? That fox thing they have?
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. It kind of
The fox.
kind of reminds
Bandicoot.
It's a Bandicoot, of course. Kind of reminds me a lot about that also, like
Who
visually.
is this?
And this is a new IP. It's called, what's it called? Let me see. It's called Super Lucky's Tale.
I was gonna say it looks like Tails from
Microsoft.
Sonic.
Oh, Sonic and Tails.
This is a Microsoft game.
Yeah.
Huh.
So obviously, all these Microsoft games so far that we know about are going to be exclusive to Xbox One and PC.
Windows 10.
So if you own a PC, I really don't see too much of a
That's what I'm
incentive
saying.
to get the Xbox One X.
It's either one or the
kinda
other,
like-
really, because
yeah.
if you're going to spend money on a PC, you're going to spend a lot of money on making it worth your while.
Right.
So what's the point of getting a console along with it? So
Yeah.
it's either a One X or Windows 10. And fortunate for me, I got Windows 10, so I'm
There
sticking with
you
that.
have it. So it looks like a fun game.
Yeah.
Up next, one of the
Crackdown
the
3.
funniest introductions to a game. Terry Crews, or the very funny, very talented Terry Crews, presented Crackdown 3 for Microsoft Studios, and the guy from Crackdown actually kind of resembles him a little bit.
I think they modeled him after.
Yeah.
So
Let's listen to it. I actually, I watched when I first watched it. I saw it on mute. So that's
Back up, because this is far from over. In fact, it's only just begun. That's why we brought in you. You got the talent. Now you need the tech. Big things too far. Today, you throw grenades. Boom. Tomorrow, you'll be throwing cars. Forget dropping bombs. You're dropping buildings. Now it's time to get to work. Time to step up your boom. Oh, that's my cue. It's go time. Yeah, son. Oh yeah. Welcome to the agency.
So there we have it. Terry Crews.
I didn't get a point to this game other than just destroying, like obliterating everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, you play like some sort of futuristic law enforcement, and you crack down on all these bad guys that are, that have infested the city. And I mean, it makes me think of the games by Volition, the Saints Row games.
Yeah.
Except you're kind of like on the other side of the coin. Instead of being a villain, you're a police officer, and so it's very extreme, very fun looking game. But at the same time, it's like nothing that I say that says to me I have to absolutely play.
See, but this one, to me, it would seem like it's one of those games that it's only going to be super fun when you got your buddies next to you playing.
Right.
Either local or online. I don't know what the capability of it is, but just being together and playing together, destroying things and just laughing, having a ball at it. That seems like it's one of those kind of games. To do it on your own, it doesn't really call my attention to, I got to get this game. I got to play this game. But,
right.
If you find out some of your online pals have it, then, why not? Have at it.
Have at it. That's for sure.
Boom.
So it's cool. I kind of like it. Now, this is a game I've been waiting for a while because I know it's coming for Xbox. I don't have an Xbox. I have no plans on playing it on Xbox.
Windows 10.
But it's also coming out for Windows 10. And that I do have. And it's Cuphead. Visually, it looks like a cartoon out of the 50s, I think. And I really, really enjoy the aesthetic visual to it.
I didn't see
and
this.
It's like a side-scroller platformer. And it just looks really good. I mean,
this looks like the old Mickey cartoons.
Yeah, definitely, and like Steamboat Willie type.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of those same visual flares that those games have. And it finally has a release date, September 29th. So I'm pretty excited about that one. I'm pretty happy.
Looks like it might be fun.
All right, so now we're getting into the ones that I didn't get to see. Tell us a little bit about this.
So this was already previously revealed. So again, it's not a brand new game. A lot of foul language, so just heads up on that one.
Yeah, it's an MA rated game. Of course, it's South Park, so kids shouldn't be watching South Park.
The first one, what was that one called? I already forgot the name of that one.
The Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth? Yeah.
Yeah. South Park,
that one was
Truth.
pretty big. It hit big, so obviously it prompted for another game. And this one, a shattered but whole game.
Why'd you say it with so many pauses, Rick?
Because I didn't want to, have a confusion in the verbiage there. So, I mean, for the most part, everybody knows what South Park is,
right.
what they do, what they say. So it uses that humor, that comedy, and it implements the RPG element to it, right? So you've got a lot of the nasty, raunchy, the foul language, the stuff that they're known for with just the gameplay element, which I did play the first one quite a bit, and it was pretty fun. I'm pretty sure this one's going to be fun as well. But you got to see this. So, watch it on your own. Be careful. Watch it on your own. You'll kind of get a little bit of a glimpse of the characters, their personalities, what their powers are. So it's going to be there it is, the Stick of Truth. A lot of humor to it. It's going to be really funny to play.
I haven't beat that game yet. I really got to get to it.
I have not
I gotta
played
get
it
to it.
I'm
like halfway through on it.
This one.
Tell me about this, because I haven't seen any of this stuff.
Who doesn't love the Rabbids? You remember the Rabbids on Wii when they came out with all those...
They were the inspiration for these guys.
Were they? Really?
Not officially. Nobody will admit to it, but come on. It's practically the same
Who came out
character.
first, though? I can't
The
remember.
Rabbids.
Are you sure?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Well, you remember the silliness of them, right? I mean, they're just clumsy. They're dumb. I don't think they have a point to whatever it is that they're trying to do. I love the Wii games where you just had all these little mini kind of like Mario Party type games to it. It was just a lot of silliness. When I saw that coin block, I was like, wait, what the heck? What's Mario stuff doing on here? And lo and behold, Super Mario and the Rabbids. They called it Super Mario Rabbit World, something like that. I can't remember. I think we'll probably see the title on it right now.
Well, as you recall, when Rabbids first made their appearance, it was part of the Rayman series on the Nintendo Wii. And eventually, we had a slew of exclusive Raving Rabbit games on the Nintendo Wii.
No, well, Rayman came out. Didn't
controls.
Rayman come out some time ago, though, prior to Wii? Well,
Yes.
regardless, I mean...
Yes, but Rayman had, I think it came out since Nintendo 64.
Okay.
Or maybe sometime after that generation.
Right.
But then when the Wii came out, a Rayman game came out, and it happened to have these characters in it, the Rabbids. And so, what's this?
Well, this is actual footage from
It's
the...
Shigeru Miyamoto,
Yeah.
the legend.
So this is just... Those are the guns. You're going to see that right now in a little bit of a gameplay. They just did a little funny thing where they were talking about the guns, but you can check. There it is. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And I'm trying to kind of forward it to where you can actually see the actual gameplay of it. I'm actually kind of digging this game. I like like I said, I like the Rabbids. I like how they're just kind of, funny, off the wall kind of. And of course, Mario. Who doesn't love Mario? So they kind of put together their two different elements, the silliness and the adventure, kind of like the open world, the N64
Right.
of Mario.
So just so we're clear here, this is an Ubisoft game, not a Nintendo game.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're going to see it in a little bit.
Jeez.
They have
They're so silly.
a battle. It's kind of like an RPG, which is probably why I like it. So they have kind of like a turn-based system of battling where you're going to be able to walk around, designate spots to move to, cover, or basically attack. I don't know the full story of it yet. I don't know, aside from that, what the purpose of all of this battling is, but it looks like it's just going to be a fun, kind of silly game to play. I don't know if it's going to be more than a single player, but it definitely looks like it has the capability, being that there's 3 or 4 people per team.
Yes.
So hopefully there is, so that'll be kind of fun. There's, at least as you're going to be able to see, there's going to be some local co-op at least, because you can kind of bounce off of each other to reach further, higher platforms or further away.
Right.
But you'll see right now. You'll see some of the battling. I think it's a kind of a long gameplay. I want to forward it just a little bit.
Sure. Let me see. Now I'm watching all this for the first time. I'm pretty impressed about it.
So you'll
It
see.
looks interesting. And it's not my type of game that I play, but just the fact that Nintendo was willing to partner with Ubisoft and allow their beloved plumber to be handled by a different
Right.
company.
I think that's what surprised me.
Huge.
That's what surprised me most, is that they allowed that concept of Mario to be used outside of their own Nintendo game. So yeah, as you can see, it's a funny. I guess it's 3-on-3 is what it looks like. So yeah, it's
Now,
just kind
of course, I'm
assuming
assuming this is a Nintendo Switch game exclusive.
I would think so.
I don't think they'll be putting this on PS4 or
Right.
Xbox anytime soon.
Right. I don't recall them saying anything different, but I mean, it's safe to assume that. But it looks funny because, I mean, when have you seen Mario with a gun? I mean, and that's what they were showcasing when Shigeru came out.
Yeah.
They were talking about that gun. They were just kind of spoofing it, making fun of it, basically.
Nice.
But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fun game. See, you can help each other.
I like it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be real fun.
All right. Let's skip forward here. Now, what are we going to be looking
Skip
at?
forward a little bit too. So Beyond Good and Evil, I'll be honest, I've heard about it, but I never played it. But apparently, from what I saw in the conference, that there was a huge fan base that was basically asking for this to come out for a very long time. And this is, I don't believe there's any gameplay, but it's basically, the teaser trailer of what's to come. Again, also a lot of foul language, so keep that in mind. But just the cinematics of it look pretty amazing, and it definitely intrigues me enough to want to look deeper into it.
I still remember the first time that this game came out. It was one of those games that had a lot of hype for the PC platform, and obviously back then I wasn't a PC player, so I was really interested in seeing what this was all about. Eventually made its way over to the consoles, but by then my interest was in other games. But this looks visually very sweet looking game. I mean, look at that. A pig with a Fu Manchu talking to an ape.
Yeah.
Do you know what these games are about?
That's why I said I honestly don't know. I've heard of part 1, but I never played it, so I have no clue. There we go. I think they were doing little screenshots of the game, but this looks like it's the actual. Oh, never mind.
I wonder if this is like actual in-game like. I
don't know.
Gameplay.
I mean, it might have been because what's it called? The whole Xbox, the One X, the 4K resolution capabilities of it. I don't know if it was exclusive. I can't remember hearing that or not. This is a breakdown, so they're kind of they're commentating about it. So you want to look for the actual video when you get a chance. It's pretty amazing. It looks amazing as far as what you're seeing there on the screen.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
But it's definitely something that you're going to want to look into. I'm definitely going to want to look into this game now after seeing this.
It looks nuts.
It does.
It does look absolutely nuts. And I kind of like that. Ubisoft so far is impressing me.
Yeah, they have a lot of pretty nice stuff that came out.
Okay, pre-alpha footage. What are we looking at, Rick?
The Crew 2.
I'm sorry, but
no.
These games do nothing for me anymore. I used to be a big lover of racing games, but I don't know. Something about these last few generations of gaming just don't do it for me anymore. It has to be more than just a race. It has to have some sort of storyline to it.
Well, I think that's what they're implementing with this. As you can see, it's not just any more car, street car, illegal racing or whatnot. They've involved a lot of extreme sports, a lot of extreme racing on it.
That's cool.
So
I can get behind that.
So I don't know if there's like a campaign story mode, as in you go from one sport to the next, or if you just pick one and follow that trail. Yeah, I don't know all the details of it. This is pre-alpha.
The only type of racing games I get my kicks out of are like the Mario Karts, which I don't really consider it a traditional racing game. Even the Wipeout HD, which is a lot like F-Zero, one of my favorites of all time.
That was a fun game.
Which, again, not a traditional racing game. And I get my kicks out of GTA 5, the racing missions, which, again, it's not a traditional racing game.
Yeah.
Ever since they started adding all the realism and gotten away from the arcadey feel to racing, it just seems like they're more boring in a way, because you end up kind of like stalling out your car more often than you are actually going at high speeds. And I get it. There's a lot of people that like the simulations, but it's just personally not my cup of tea.
I think they just ran someone over on that one right there. Honestly, this looks amazing. I mean, it looks awesome. And this is pre-alpha, so this isn't the finished product here. But yeah, if they're going to incorporate all those other extreme racing sports, then that's going to be pretty fun too. Because, as you said, you kind of play one racing game, you kind of play them all. I mean, there's not too much that you can really kind of upgrade or advance from there.
Yeah.
But when you're adding other elements like that, like it's okay, not only a car racer, now you got an airplane, now you got speedboat, now you've got motocross and whatnot. So it kind of keeps you out of the normal routine of just playing the same thing over and over. So yeah, this one's kind of long too. So you're probably going to we're going to go and skip
on to the next one. Skull and Bones. What's up?
So this reminds me of kind of like an RTS type of game, kind of like Halo Wars, where you kind of had to send out your troops or your fighters to go out and kind of conquer areas and whatnot.
Okay.
Something similar to that, but it's a pirate theme. I think this was also a beta or alpha. I'm not 100% sure. But from the looks of it, you have like your own fleet, right? You basically, your pirates A, B, C, D, whatever amount of teams that they have. And you kind of compete against another pirate crew. You're basically racing to see who can get the most loot,
Yes.
destroy or evade the other team, and get out of there. So what you'll see here, I don't think this is the gameplay footage. I think this is just kind of the trailer for it.
Yeah.
But if you do look it up, you'll see some actual gameplay footage of your pirate ships. You got I forgot what they call the main, where the
main
captain,
ship.
and you've got like 3 or 4 other boats in your fleet, and they each have a purpose. Like one of them is the tank, which can basically take the most amount of damage.
Yeah.
You have one that can deal the most amount of damage, and then you have another one that's meant to kind of infiltrate and kind of sneak in and out kind of deal. So you got to use those elements to get in there to do different things. So basically either distract the other crew, bombard them, hit them hard, stop them while your guys go in and loot so you can kind of separate. And once you get all your loot, if you destroy the other team, I think they also showed like there's what do you call it, like the police pirates, I don't know what they would call them. They kind of come and go after whoever's basically winning or has the most loot. So then you got to evade them and basically get out of there.
Right.
So it looks kind of like a fun game, something a little bit different. I don't know if I don't want to pay full price for something like that, but it definitely looks like something that's worth playing.
Okay, so out of Ubisoft Toronto, we have Starlink. What is this?
So when I was watching this, I was like, "Oh, okay, looks kind of cool. Looks, sci-fi, planets, interstellar, all that stuff. All right."
Planet Leo X.
And then I saw them do something with the PS4 controller, and I was like, "Wait, what the heck just happened there?" And then later on, they kind of show a little bit. It's like kind of like the Lego Dimensions, where you get your little characters or amiibos or whatever you want to call them, and you put them on the platform, and it reads the data, and you play as that.
Oh,
that's what that is. So, like those ships, for example, you'll see they're gonna customize it by removing weapons and swapping them out. So it looks kind of fun, but at the same time,
it looks cool, but that aspect of it to me is very unappealing.
For children, for little ones, I would say this is pretty cool, but I would not give little kids a PS4. I would give them a Wii U or something separate that costs less. That I don't know. I just seem like this is
give him a spinner.
A spinner. Just distract him.
Yeah, here's a spinner, kid. Go.
So yeah, all platforms.
Okay, kind of meh. Okay, let's get hyphy, guys.
You got the adrenaline pumping again.
At least that's what I was hoping for. This is out of the Sony E3 press conference. I'll be taking it from here. Thanks
Go for it.
For going after the Ubisoft. Yeah, we just finished watching like an hour ago or so the PlayStation conference, and very underwhelming.
Yeah.
In terms of the surprises aspect, all their games, very, very solid games, very beautiful looking games. The gameplay looks just out of this world. But they are games that they have announced before. They are games from trailers we have seen before. So we kind of, even though a lot of these games haven't shown us the gameplay, we have seen many of these games before. This is Uncharted, The Lost Legacy, and out of Naughty Dog. Obviously, Naughty Dog is Naughty Dog. They're fantastic. They're wonderful. Love them. Their games are great. I don't expect any less from this particular game. It's a day one purchase for me already. So I'm stoked about it. However, from an E3 presentation standpoint, it just kind of is one of those games. It's like I kind of expected. You know, I just kind of expected to see a little bit out of it, and they showed it to us. So it's kind of like one thing that's checked off, you know, and obviously, you know, great game. Not too much new stuff, you know. Uncharted Lost Legacy, August 22nd, which, you know, is great. It's not too far off. I'm looking forward to playing it, and that's pretty great. This was a surprise, actually. We're looking at Shadow of the Colossus. It's a remake of the game, and it looks absolutely stunning, you know, on PlayStation 4. And considering the visuals that the PS2 version of this game had, it was very hard to play. Last time I played it, very difficult to play just because visually, you know, the limitations of the PlayStation 2 don't even compare to what we have now on PS4.
Yeah.
And so even when it comes to the HD remake that was released for the PlayStation 3, this isn't just an HD remake. This is a complete, what would you call it?
An entire remake from
like
scratch of the exact same game.
Right. It's not a remaster. It's a remake. That's what I'm trying to say. So the other one was just a remaster, you know, up-resed the same stuff, but this is a complete remake, and I can't wait to play. I'm looking forward to playing it, although it is disappointing that it's not a different game. It's just the same game, but with
Well, see, that's what I was
graphics.
telling you, though. Like at least for me, because the same thing, I played the original way back. I didn't get too much into it. I didn't get too far. And then at some point, I kind of tried to go back to playing it, but just because of the generation that we have now of technology, it just kind of like prevented me from trying to really get into it.
Yes.
Even though I've heard that it's a really great game, it just makes it that much more difficult.
Right.
So when it's like this, like a remake, all right, now I can get into it. Now I can, you know, with nowadays graphics, you know, kind of the same thing like what they're doing with Final Fantasy VII. I played the original, you really didn't, but
Right.
now you can actually kind of get into this one because it looks much nicer,
right.
much cleaner than what the other one was.
So now what we're looking at is the Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds DLC, which is, it's good. It's good, you know. Horizon Zero Dawn, it's been out for a couple of months now, and a lot of people have already beat it. It's a wonderful game, a great game, I would say. And a lot of people, if you haven't played it yet, go ahead and play it. You'll really, really enjoy this game. It's a must-play, I think. Graphics-wise, gameplay-wise, it's an amazing game. It's very original in terms of its storytelling. It has a great storyline. The villains in this are wonderful. And hey, the Frozen Wilds DLC, go play it. Just add more to the adventure. It's gonna be good. So yeah, man, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for it.
Did we have because I know there was some God of War. Did we miss that?
That trailer had not been out before when we
Oh,
were
I
setting
gotcha.
up the playlist. for
I mean, this is actually pulling from the conference that just ended about a little bit over an hour ago. So it probably wasn't ready by the time we were trying to get this ready for this show. So we're gonna look for it really quick. But that one, I'll admit, I'm not as much of a fan of God of War as you are.
Yes.
I think it's the third one right there. I played the first one, the original one that came out on PS1 or PS2? PS1, right? No, PS2, sorry. I played that one, and it was fun. It was an amazing game. But I just, for whatever reason, I couldn't get into the next ones. When I saw this last E3, I was like, all right, you know, something that I kind of want to maybe look into,
Yeah.
give it another shot. Unfortunately, this is the PS4 exclusive, which I don't have, so it's looking like it's very unlikely because I refuse to buy another console, at least right now. Oh yeah, that one too. But it looks like it's going to be an awesome game. It looks like it's going to have possibly, I'm not 100% sure, but kind of also like a co-op kind of mode to it. You'll see that there's going to be a couple parts where the boy, I'm assuming it's his son, because they've kind of alluded to that, is walking around with like a bow on his back, kind of following Kratos around. So there's a possibility that, I don't know if it's a 2-player or you switch kind of roles and take over the sun for a while. So it's gonna look like it's gonna be capable of that. So hopefully, because that's very interesting to me. I like that.
Now, I'm a huge God of War fan. This trailer showed no gameplay like last year's trailer did. However, it did reveal a little bit more when it comes to the storyline, and what they're doing, and he's out kind of showing his kid the ropes of how to be a great warrior, and also he's trying to cope with all the things that come along with trying to become a good father and a protector, and he doesn't really know how, and he's just this tough guy who seems to be still troubled by something of his past, and he seems like he's fighting inner demons as well, while he's trying to set an example for his son. And obviously the visuals just are amazing. We expect nothing less from God of War titles. It looks like a wonderful game, great game, and if the visuals are anything, if the gameplay is anything like we're used to seeing already from all of the God of War games already, then it's going to be just another home run of a game, especially for all of us God of War fans. It just seems like it's a great game. But again, not a surprise out of Sony. We already knew this was coming, and you kind of expected a trailer for this game. And at the very end of what we got out of it is just early 2018 date for it. So still nothing solid, nothing set in stone, which kind of lets us know that yes, it's coming along, but they still got quite a bit to work out,
right?
Out at Santa Monica studio. So that was the God of War thing, and there's also one more game that we wanted to take a look at here, and tell me a little bit about this, Rick.
So last year we saw that they were in a lumber mill or something like that. Like he was chasing somebody, they ended up in this lumber mill, and then you see this horde of zombies just coming after this guy. And it's not the typical zombie game like Resident Evil game where you just have one or two coming at you that you have to kind of run from. You're talking about a massive amount of zombies. So
yes, that
kind of pumps up the adrenaline a little bit. But they didn't give us too much detail as far as, story wise, what, I think this is actually the original from last year. Yeah, I think so, because they didn't show this one this time.
It is the original.
So, yeah, so it kind of doesn't follow that traditional zombie game. Now for the new one, which you're going to probably see in a little while here, it showed a little bit more of him kind of roaming out in the open world on his motorcycle, as you saw there. So it kind of gives you that idea of where you can kind of roam and go to different areas, kind of maybe like a Horizon, where possibly you have a preset mission where you have to go somewhere, but you have to drive to get there. It has kind of like the Last of Us kind of element to it with, what was the other game that I compared it to? I totally forgot. But anyway, so it has that kind of mechanic, that feel to it. Oh, Uncharted is what you said.
Yes.
Where it has that kind of mechanic where you kind of move around and kind of investigate and you're in an open world. Now, on this one, we see that there's a lot more than just zombies. It looks like there was also some other animals, which I believe was like a wolf, like a zombie or an infected kind of wolf.
Right here, we're coming up on it.
And later on, you're going to see something a little bit more. But as far as gameplay, it didn't give us too much of it either to kind of really tell us, more of the story of what's coming on. It kind of reminds me of like a Walking Dead, like Daryl, guy with the crossbow.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of like this is a story from him, kind of, just because it has that kind of feel to it, but it's not. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very in-depth kind of game. I'm expecting that it's gonna have like a very sad kind of tone to it, like The Last of Us did.
Right.
Where it's gonna be, yeah, you're advancing, you're living, you're going on day to day, but it's like a really sad life to have, kind of deal. So even though you're winning, you're still kind of losing. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Right.
But other than that, we don't see too much more else from this. I don't think they've released like his name or his story, if there's going to be any other characters or where this is located, when it's located. So it's still a mystery. But again, like how Leo was saying, we saw this last year. So it's nothing new, but it's expected that you were going to be seeing some more of this.
That's right. So I mean that's pretty much it. There's not too much more I can add to it that we haven't seen already. You know, it's this year's E3 announcements have been, for the most part, underwhelming. There's a few shining examples of new announcements that kind of give you excitement for what is to come. A lot of the stuff that Microsoft presented is stuff that I actually liked. You know, like Cuphead, and that futuristic game, Anthem is one of those that looked really good. It looked like pretty much like you would be like, it's like a new Master Chief, you know, or a new Tony Stark flying as Iron Man, you know, one of those type of games. So it looked good. Ubisoft is bringing it with the new games like South Park. You know, that's a big one I'm looking forward to. Sony brought a lot of games that I really, really want to play. A lot of these games that Sony showed to us are games that I already had on my radar, you know, that I absolutely want to play. Like Days Gone, like God of War, that's a must buy.
Right.
Like Uncharted, that's a must buy. Just to name a few of them. Those are games I was already planning on buying. I was hoping, though, what to me E3 is mostly about is about the future. Like, what are they going to bring to us in the future?
Well, they did show a lot of PlayStation VR.
The VR stuff, yes, they showed us a lot of VR stuff. All of it was new. However, I'm not too interested in VR. And as far as, you know, like Detroit Become Human, it sold me on the game. Before I didn't care about it. Now I kind of do. And I'm really, really curious to play it now. But really, was there something that you would say, like, I want it? You know, like... Not
necessarily. I mean, just like you said...
Spider-Man? That was a great trailer.
That one looks good, but it doesn't seem like it's something brand new either. I mean, this is just kind of an improvement to previous Spider-Man games, because it did have a lot of the same thing, a lot of web slinging, obviously, a lot of fighting. It kind of had like a kind of a God of War vibe to it, where you're, you know, attacking Arkham Knight, kind of a mechanic to it where you're fighting off multiple guys and using your skills and abilities to kind of take them out one by one, or in groups, stealth mode kind of. So it looks fun. It looks like entertaining, but at the same time, it's not something like wow, I need to get this game. At least for me. And I mean, I love Spider-Man. I love Sony, although I'm not going to get a PS4. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it wasn't enough to push me towards getting that game.
Spider-Man, it's exciting. I enjoy it, but again, it's something that was already announced. And this begs the question in my mind, because there was nothing new, really, aside from the VR stuff. There was absolutely nothing new in this conference. Sony's working on the PS5, you guys. The PS5 is going to be announced in... I'm predicting this right now. It's going to be announced in the first half of next year. It's going to be announced... I think it's going to be announced in the springtime of next year. And there's not going to be any details, obviously. But then they're going to show us a whole ton of stuff, of games, of projects for the PS5 in next year's E3, I think. And if it's not the PS5, I really think they're working on a new handheld. A lot of people compare the PS Vita. They compare it to the Nintendo mobile consoles,
Mm-hmm.
and they see it as a failure. But what people don't understand is that system, that handheld system that Sony released, despite it not having the big time support of its console brother, it still was a profitable console. So I think that we might be seeing like a PSP next, whatever then they decide to name it, but it's
Vita
gonna be
2.
Vita 2 or PSP whatever, and we're going to see another handheld out of Sony, I think. And I'm wondering, is that why we didn't see new stuff?
Could be.
Or did we just not see new stuff because they're going to make the PlayStation 4, obsolete coming up pretty soon. They're still going to keep releasing games for it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to be mostly third-party titles, and Sony's probably already going to be moving on to
Focusing on
bigger,
the next
better
one.
things.
Yeah, I could totally see that, Leo. And I'm hoping by next E3 we're wowed more than this time.
Yeah. I even though I like the games Sony showed more in terms of wow factor, I think this year Microsoft may have won the conference war versus Sony.
Really?
Yeah, because Microsoft, at least, their presentation was really good. It had a good mix of games that they had already announced, along with
Some new ones.
new games that were not announced.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the surprise factor has a lot to do with it, whereas Sony, everything they showed was something that they had already announced, except for the VR stuff. And so I think in that respect, Microsoft kind of like took it home for me. But even so, Microsoft's conference was underwhelming. I think Bethesda had the best presentation out of anybody at this year's E3.
All right.
Although I didn't see Ubisoft's, and from the game announcements I saw out of Ubisoft, I kind of like where they're going. I like what they're doing. But I don't know. What do you think, Rick?
I'm kind of on the same boat as you. I wasn't really wowed by anyone in particular. Each one of them kind of brought one or two games I was kind of like, wow, that all right, looks good, looks nice. But yeah, I think if anything, I'm not gonna go with Sony. I'm not gonna go with Microsoft. I'm gonna say either Ubisoft or Bethesda. One of them two. I mean, they just kind of gave you like no gimmicks, no. We're playing around with this idea, or we're just kind of allude to something else that's coming. It's like, here it is. This is what we got.
That's it.
And have at it.
No ifs, ands, or buts, and it's all coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, Bethesda, they know what's up. They didn't go big like some of these other companies did, but at the same time, they didn't just show us the same stuff they have already told us that they were going to show.
Yep.
They brought something new, and that's something that's really, really cool, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've pretty much went over, I think, the majority of this stuff. I know Sony had Destiny 2, which go ahead and look out for it on your own. There wasn't any extended gameplay because they've already did gameplay footage not that long ago. So you can definitely see all of that.
Call of Duty World War II looked like another Call of Duty game. It just set in World War II, which is pretty cool.
What else? Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. So they kind of gave a little bit more about that one, but again, nothing new. I think though that you can sign up to play a story mode demo. I think is what they announced. So you can go ahead and have at that. Other than that, that's about it. I mean, that's pretty much the main things that have been going on since this weekend up until now, and not entirely disappointed, but I'm not entirely thrilled either.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the games industry is, again, prepping for a new generation of consoles. And it's a little bit disappointing, to be honest with you. I think it might be a little too early, but, 5 years is the average lifespan I know PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 enjoyed like 7 to 8 years lifespan, but that's because the economy took a hit and they didn't want to make that risk of releasing something that wasn't going to sell.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. And I'm still looking forward to seeing what comes out of the PC press conference. Because it seems to me like more and more the future of gaming, the key lies within PC.
Yeah. It definitely seems like it's going that way.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us for this very special episode of Daddy's Game Time. The energy levels were very high, but now they're low. We've been covering this throughout the weekend. We're bringing you live streams, and I'm pooped, Rick. What about you?
I think we're done for today.
So thank you very much. Let us know in the comments down below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. I'm Leo with
Rick.
Enjoy your games and love your families. Ciao!
If you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Also visit us at daddysgametime.com, or you can check us out at Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, all at keyword Daddy's Game Time.
Don't forget our t-shirts and merchandise at daddysgametime.com/merchandise, where you can find designs inspired by pop culture, movies, and video games, designed by Leo and yours truly.
All your support is appreciated.